Hi everybody and welcome back to Virtual Storytime at the Castle Shannon Library. All the month of November we are doing Thanksgiving stories, and today we are doing this one. It's Pete the Cat, The First Thanksgiving by Kimberly and James Dean. Everybody around here loves Pete the Cat, so obviously we have to do Pete the Cat story time for Thanksgiving. Pete was nervous about being a pilgrim in his class's Thanksgiving play. The first Thanksgiving? Just do your best, his best friend Callie said. Pete said he would try. He was ready. His mom had even made him a pilgrim hat, which was really cool. Do you see a pilgrim hat anywhere on this page? Well, here's the fun thing about this book. It's a lift the flap book. So we'll be lifting flaps all throughout the book to find super cool stuff. Pete took his place at the front of the giant ship that his class had made out of cardboard. Pete was a pilgrim on the Mayflower. And we see Pete here, and we see Pete there. Pete here, Pete there. Pete here, Pete there. And what changes? The sails come down. In 1620, a group of pilgrims decided to leave England for the New World to build a new life. It was a long, long trip on a big, big ship, all the pilgrims sang. So here's the pilgrims on the trip. Here's the pilgrims on the ship. Trip, ship. And what changes here? Here we have small waves, and here we have big, choppy waves. And we also have some happier looking cats and some more seasick looking cats. The dream of a new start in a new world made the hard trip all worth it. For more than 2 months, the pilgrims sailed. So they left England, or left where they were at, in September 1620. On the 6th of September, it says set sail on this calendar. And when we flip the calendar, it says they wondered if they would ever get there. So they left on September 6th, and they sailed all through September, all through October, and not until the third-ish week of November did they make it there. After 65 days on the ship, the New World finally came into view. So Pete has his telescope and he's looking and he says, "Land ho!" cried Pete. All the pilgrims did a happy dance. So he's looking and then he's happy dancing. The pilgrims arrived in the New World at Plymouth Rock in what is now Massachusetts. Everyone had many chores to do, like growing food, finding water, and what are they doing up here? Building a house. It says, and building shelters. So this is when they were building it. This is after it's done. Before and after. The first winter in the New World was long and hard. So here's the house in the New World. And it says, in the spring, the pilgrims had to decide whether to give up and go back to England or keep trying. This was a hard winter. And then spring came, and they had some decisions to make. The pilgrims had heard about the Native Americans, and many worried that they would not be friendly. Pete had never met a cat he didn't like, so he thought they would be kind. So here's Native American Pete with his corn. Maybe that's not Pete, because this is definitely Pete. I don't know who this is, but it's a Native American, and Pete thought he would be nice, and he was, because he gave him his corn. Pete was right. He made a new friend in Squanto. Squanto and the other Native Americans showed the pilgrims how to grow crops like corn, beans, and squash. So here, they've planted their crops. We've got one here that planted corn, and it says, by summer, the pilgrims had learned how to farm the new land. So this is what the corn looked like when it started. And by summer, it looked like this. And then over here, these are the beans. Or no, that's squash. So this is what the squash looked like. And then by summer, it looked like this. By fall harvest, the pilgrims had plenty of food. To thank Squanto and the other Native Americans, the Pilgrims invited them to share the harvest. So here they all are sitting around the table. And look at all the good stuff on their table. It says, this celebration became known as the first Thanksgiving. Do you recognize anything on that table that you eat at Thanksgiving? I see at least one thing that I eat. Turkey. Pete was relieved when the play was over. He had remembered all his lines. Wow, I never thought about how hard it was back then, said Pete. So he's standing in the limelight at the end of the show. He said, you did great, Callie said, as they took a bow. So, there they go, bowing. Later at Thanksgiving dinner with his family, Pete said, let's all go around the table and say something we're thankful for. So, it looks like this might be Mom Cat. Says, I'm thankful for my family, said Pete's mom. I'm thankful for my skateboard, said Bob. I'm thankful for the brave pilgrims that started this new free world, said Pete. And then Pete says, what are you thankful for? So that's what we're going to think about at the end of this book. What are you thankful for? I think I'm thankful for all of our friends that come to the library and that still do things like virtual story time, even when we all can't be together. And of course, my friends and my family and all the great people that work here at the library. So think about what you're thankful for, and if you want to share it with us, have a grown-up type it in the comments below and share what you're thankful for. We hope that you enjoyed this story time. We hope that you have a great November and great Thanksgiving season, and we can't wait to see you back at the library soon. Have a great day.